The Green Voice is a program brought to you by the Center for Earthworks with support from the German government through the PEACECORE project.
Good morning, listener. Welcome to another edition of The Green Voice. It is a program that talks about livelihood, about environment, and peace advocacy. It's a program brought to you by the Center for Earthworks with support from the German government through the PEACECORE project. I am your host, Seyodan Ilpo. Take a listen to this.
The Green Voice is a program brought to you by the Center for Earthworks with support from the German government through the PEACECORE project.
Today being the 24th day in the month of April 2026, we also need to let you know that you can follow this program live on Facebook at Center for Earthworks and catch up with us later on our YouTube channel. Last week, we acknowledged the relentless work of women holding the front lines of climate resource recovery in our communities. We learned so much from an insightful conversation we had with the CEO of Ali Smart, Mrs. Longley Alexander Yildiz. This week, our conversation focuses on the impact of climate change in our daily lives. Climate change impacts on daily lives is our topic for today. And here in the studio, we have Mr. Muhammad Labiru Abdullahi of the University of Jos and the Anthony Young Climate Center for Excellence. He serves currently as the Publicity Secretary of the Nigerian Meteorological Society, NIMET. He has been having great conversations on different forums in relation to climate advocacy, and these conversations continue to shape important conversations around weather and climate issues. You're welcome, sir.
You're welcome. Nice having me.
All right, it's great to have you. Our discussion today focuses on fresh insights which will deepen your understanding and broaden your perspective on climate change and its impact on our everyday life. Do stay tuned to The Green Voice, where our conversations build communities.
The Green Voice is a program brought to you by the Center for Earthworks with support from the German government through the PEACECORE project.
Climate change impacts all of us, and rising to responsibility altogether would bring the desired results we want to have. Our topic today, like we mentioned earlier, is climate change impacts on daily life. And like I mentioned earlier, our guest today is none other than Muhammad Labiru Abdullahi of the University of Jos and the Anthony Young Climate Center of Excellence, who is also serving as the Publicity Secretary of the Nigerian Meteorological Society. You're welcome, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, so going straight into the discourse, which is know in part, so we mentioned in part. Is there anything else about you that you would want us to know?
For now, none.
Okay, this serves. Okay, so tell us about climate change. There are people that have misconceptions about it. Do you think it is fake, like some people have preconceived ideas, or you actually believe is a real problem confronting humanity, especially in the 21st century?
Okay, thank you for this wonderful question. First of all, for people to think that climate change is not reality, they may likely be deceiving themselves. Even a typical rural person will tell you that, for instance, this year, there wasn't something like Harmattan in Nigeria generally. The Harmattan was very weak. There were a lot of anomalies. So that is to tell you that from November to January, February, it used to be cooled in Nigeria precisely. What makes it not to happen is as a result of climate change. And when we talk of climate change, people need to understand that climate change has to do with changes in rainfall pattern, temperature pattern, occurrence of frequencies of drought and floods and dry spells. So when such phenomenon tends to happen, definitely the climate is changing. And what makes it to change is as a result of human activities, mostly.
Okay. As a result of human activities. Thank you very much. So now, Let's talk about one area that concerns everybody, the area of food. How is climate change already affecting food security, food production, and its availability in communities like ours? I mean, you just identified that
Okay.
the Hamatan is affecting a lot more as the
Yes.
months go by.
Okay. Climate change has affected food sector seriously because first of all, scientifically it has been proven by the Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change, which stated that the tropical regions, which Nigeria inclusive, temperature has rise by 1 degree. Meaning that for temperature to rise by 1 degree, there are going to be a lot of anomalies. One, when the temperature is high, it affects crops because there are crops that they do require high temperature. Apart from that, when there is severity of floods, it leads to soil erosion. When the soil erosion took place, it washes away the soil nutrient, it washes away the farms. Apart from that, climate change affects agricultural production in other ways like dry spell. You know, there are two different things between dry spell and drought. And the most common one happening in Nigeria, precisely just plateau now, is the dry spell. NAMED projected in the year 2024 that there will be above normal rainfall, which it occurs, which is climate change. 2025, it projected that there will be below normal and a lot of dry spell, which has occurs. And then 2026 now, it say is there based on the seasonal climate prediction that it will be within normal bed with several dry spell occurrence in some locations, not only just plateau but Nigeria to be precise. So you see, like the just plateau here, Irish potato is the most stable crops which undergoes high production, and it requires a minimum temperature of between 20 22 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius for it to yield properly. So we know when the temperature rises, it will affect the tuberization of Irish potato and it will lead to loss. Apart from that, when dry spell occur, farms get destroyed, the plants will wilt. As a result of that, it will lead to what? Low yield. Then when there is excessive rainfall above normal, there are plants that do require most moisture. So in that regard, when there is most moisture like potato, like Irish potato, potato plant will be developed. Then other crops like the rice, when there is dry spell, they didn't tend to yield well. Maize as well. And when there is prolonged rainfall, crops like maize, by the time it was October, rain supposed to cease. For instance, on the plateau, when it continues up to October, ending to first week of November, it affects the seed of the maize. So you see, it has affected several sectors of agriculture, even livestock. When there is water scarcity, animals tend to die automatically because there won't be water for them to take, and even as that, when there is water scarcity, sometimes it affects the final production stage. For instance, if you compare some rice, they process from the southern part of the plateau, precisely the Ayalon Dam axis. If you discover sometimes the rice used to have a kind of smell, it's because of lack of good water.
Okay.
Yes, because when there is enough water, they didn't need to be recycling the water. So climate change has caused a lot of adverse effects on agricultural sector.
From
Of
all
its
this you are saying, I'm already picturing the economic situation, especially for those that depend largely on food production and livestock affairs to make ends meet and for their economic prosperity. So, how then can we thrive in the midst of this climate change situations? How can we thrive? How can we build resilience in order that we survive in the midst of it?
Resilience is the best option. And you know, there was this statement that says necessity is the mother of invention. Climate change has come to stay forever. But what is the way out? How do we cope up with it? That is where adaptation will come in. One, there is need for us to integrate into agroforestry
Okay.
because agroforestry tend to bring back moisture within a given environment. Apart from that, afforestation. When we say afforestation, it shouldn't be on the side of the government alone. The government, the general public, the NGOs, and the stakeholders. we need to plant more trees, because what is actually happening is this. When there is so much urbanization, rapid urbanization, people tend to build houses, they clear away the natural vegetation, they build houses. When they do that, the natural vegetation release oxygen to the immediate environment, which is good for our own health, and we give back in turn carbon dioxide. So when the natural vegetations are not there, as the incoming solar radiation is reaching us, it will come directly to us. And when it hit the ground surface, it will make the moisture to evaporate faster. So when the moisture evaporates faster, within the ground surface, there won't be moisture. So technically, to tell you that, if we didn't plant more trees and we conserve the moisture we have, that is the water, the groundwater, there is going to be a lot of issues. So afforestation should be the next order. Then even our activities, the mining activities we are doing, we need to monitor it clearly. If you are going to do mining activities, say in community A, when the government gives you the license, before you come in for that project, a year to it or 2 years to it, you need to plant more vegetations around that area. Because as you are doing mining activities, you are exposing the soil. When you extract the minerals, the soil surface will be left open. As a result of that, moisture will evaporate faster. And when there are no natural vegetation, to reduce the intensity of the heating, that is the sunlight, it will bounce directly on the bare surface that the mining activities are taking place. In turn, it will create imbalance within that environment. It gives rise to temperature, diseases, among others. So adaptation now, afforestation, water conservation are reused.
Okay.
Yes, when you dig up boreholes, don't allow the water to be going unnecessarily. Maybe by the time you wash out your clothes, you can use that water to flush the toilet. You can use that water to pour it on the ground surface, so that to stabilize the soil, to reduce the heating effect. Because when you wash clothes and you put the water into the channel, it goes into the gutter, you are creating more harm. It's better you go out to your community and separate it. That is why if you discover Abuja as the capital city of Nigeria, whenever you go to Abuja, whether rainy season or dry season, it's extremely hot. Because all the water used in Abuja city, they channel it outside the countryside, outside the city. So as a result of that, when the sun hits the ground surface, there is no moisture to create balance. That is why the effect is always being felt. So even here, we need to advance to that. We shouldn't be channeling our water out. We need to recycle it.
Okay, listener, this is an eye-opener. I hope you're learning too.
The Green Voice is a program brought to you by the Center for Earthworks with support from the German government through the PEACECORE project.
Now, in relation to what you just explained right now, I remember in biology we learned that there's something called elimination of the unfit and survival of the fittest. Now, we know that there have been ethno-religious factors that contribute to conflict. But from what you have said, are there any climate-related conflicts, issues that can contribute to conflict? I mean, like we heard in the drama, they are trying to scramble for the resources that they get to have access to. Can you explain further on that?
Yes.
And
in fact,
particularly here on the plateau.
In fact, most of the crises in Nigeria, just plateau inclusive, is climate-induced crisis, neither religious. Because the issue is this: when there is scarcity of pasture and there is no well-arranged grazing land, the herders, as they are moving, sometimes they will see grasses by the side of the farm. The cows will say, they will eat, let's fast. But the fact is this: cows are not like human beings. As they eat the grasses, sometimes they will encourage into the farm. So you see, lack of enough pasture create conflict between farmers and herders. Still, lack of enough water. Sometimes you go to a pond or a river, you discover that cows are waiting to drink from it, people are waiting to fetch. So in that regard, sometimes people say, human beings are more superior than cows. And when you meet a typical farmer, he will tell you, my cows are more superior than any other thing. In that area, water scarcity, it creates conflicts. In the area of grasses, it creates conflicts. It even creates conflicts in the area of medicinal herbs, because we get medicinal herbs from those grasses. So what will even surprise you the more is this: if now this climate crisis continue, which it has come to stay, but the most important thing is proper adaptation. Like the Jos Plateau, as you said, it has a unique weather condition, and the climate is very favorable. If you look at the statistical figures for years. So now, the neighboring states, they are already facing what is known as desert encouragement. Talk of Bauchi, talk of Nasarawa, talk of Benue. So by the time people think the climate is unfavorable, they will be moving into plateau. If you discover the population of plateau is increasing, urbanization is increasing. Some people might decide to say, okay, I'm leaving Bauchi for Jos, I'm leaving Nasarawa for Jos, I'm leaving Benue for Jos because of the conducive weather. So by the time people are coming to plateau, they are coming to occupy other people's land. When they come, they get the land, they build, but that is not where the issue will come up. A time will come, somebody will tell you, I want to go for so things. Maybe a new community. Somebody will tell you, you are not from here. We'll just sell a piece of land for you. Like for instance, when you go to Utan, the majority of people there are Igbos. Majority.
Okay.
Rock heaven. So that can create serious conflict. Because somebody tomorrow will say, I'm going for chairmanship. So, how can an Igbo man go for chairmanship?
Okay.
So that will bring a serious crisis within the citizens. So climate change has contributed a lot to the crisis on the plateau.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let's take a break here. When we return, this discourse continues. Listener will open the phone lines after the break, so you get to be a part of the conversation. Do stay tuned. It's The Green Voice.
The Green Voice is a program brought to you by the Center for Earthworks with support from the German government through the PEACECORE project.
We have been here in the studio discussing how climate change impacts our daily lives. And we have been here in the studio with Mr. Mohammed Labiru Abdullahi of the University of Jos and the Anthony Young Climate Center of Excellence. You can call 08125886048 or send a comment, okay, on our Facebook platform, Center for Earthworks, okay, on Facebook. Look it up and send a comment because we are streaming this program there right now. All right, so we have a call already. Hello, good morning. Please move away from your radio set. Hello?
Hello?
Good morning, you're welcome.
Yes. I want to find out what is the difference between when climate changes and the weather changes. What is the difference?
Okay, thank you. It will be responded to. But what's your name?
My name is Mr. Dade from Bukuru Local.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, listener 08125886048. That's the number to call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, ma.
You're welcome. What's your name? Hello? Okay. All right. So I think you should respond to that. What's the difference between
the question
weather
he
change and climate change?
You know, weather is the average condition of a place over a short period of time.
Okay.
5 to 10 seconds. So if the weather changes, we say there is change in weather. But climate change, it occurs as a result of continuous human activities and industrial activities, which in turn will bring out an output. For instance, like the harmattan I just mentioned, that was not too strong this year. Or for instance, now it has been predicted that this year there is going to be dry spell in Lantern North and part of Wasai. That one is climate change. But weather change, it occurs within seconds. For instance, now it can be windy. Later, it can be cool. It can be sunny. That one is weather.
Okay.
And weather can change. But when the weather continues to change, it will lead to the outcome of what is called climate change.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. I hope you got that response. Okay, we have a few minutes to go, so I'll just take this final question. Now, how can we ensure that we prevent conflict and foster lasting peace in vulnerable communities, especially those that have experienced the adverse effect of climate change?
It can be addressed in so many ways. One, drama to create drama that has to do with climate change.
Okay.
And when you create drama, people will be interested in seeing it, more especially the rural communities. They will come, you tell them this is how it happens. When they see it dramatically, they will agree that yes, this thing is not induced by one individual or the other. Then secondly, radio stations like this, by doing continuous programs to enlighten people, non-governmental organizations like yours, the Center for Art Science, when they were involved and sponsored, they can move out to community and enlighten them. Then another issue is the academia. The research academia did, they remain in the shelves. So there is need for strong synergy between the academia, the non-governmental organization, the media people, to be creating, even if it's storytellings about what the climate change is. Because now this one is the most dangerous thing that is facing humanity. So when we follow these steps, I think we are going to achieve a lot.
Okay, so
Yes.
what are your parting words for today?
Climate change has come to stay, but what is the way forward? Adaptation. Let's try and plant more trees and be conscious of our environment and to avoid anything that will trigger changes in the weather conditions.
Okay, thank you very much for being on the program. And listener, we are sorry we did not pick as many calls for want of time. Today on the Green Voice, we discussed how climate change is shaping all aspects of our lives, including our food, the economy, politics, even community peace. With insights from Mr. Mohammed Labiru Abdullahi, we have learned that resilience is everyone's responsibility and that every platform can be powerful, a tool for awareness. As we close, remember that protecting our planet means protecting our future. Let's act together for greener growth and lasting peace. We have worked in the studio here with Lawrence Danat, who has been the studio manager, and Binkat Karagwak, who has been the engineer here in the studio. We have also been encouraged, and so much work has been done by Angela Ezekiel, Osarense Ubefon, and Oche Emmanuel. The executive producer is Rita Kacholompam, supervising producer Hudungyang. The producers of this program are Pam Doyle and Benson Dotsun Fasonya. My name is Seyil Nan Ilpo. As much as it behoves on us, let's reduce our carbon footprints. Have a great day.
The Green Voice is a program brought to you by the Center for Earthworks with support from the German government through the PEACECORE project.